to another classic guitar video. Tonight's show is brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. Please check them out, they're really wonderful. Tonight's guitar is a NOS 2017 new old stock, that's what NOS means. Epiphone Les Paul Jr. in satin silver with a black pickguard, one pickup, one volume, one tone. So I just picked this guitar up. Again, it's NOS, new old stock. So it's basically that means it's brand new. It's just old stock. So let's go ahead and get working on that. And I also have one very quick, small unpackaging to do of something I received today that I'm about 99.999% sure it's a guitar part or tool that I ordered. So we'll open that first and get right to it. So let's get started. So here's the guitar. Sorry about that. But it's a small package, so I won't take the guitar away like I usually do. I'll just open it right in front of you guys. Why not? Just open it right in front of you. So always with your packages, make sure your contents are at one end, so that way when you cut or break into your package, you're not ruining any aspect of it. I'm going to open it I'm going to open it the other way, actually, just so the label is up front. And take my razor blade and just I think that razor blade is sharp enough to open it. And I'm pretty sure I know what this is. Oh yes. Yes. This is a guitar fret edge file. It's to file fret edges that sometimes you run your finger across and it'll catch, and it's got a sharp edge. Well, you take this and you run it across a few times, and that makes quick work of taking it down, taking those edges down. So it's in a Ziploc bag. I'll open up the Ziploc bag too. And it's mounted on a nice piece of hard maple. Yep, that's maple wood. And you would just take it. Ideally, you would do this with the strings off, of course. But I'll do it. I won't do it. I'll show you how to do it summarily. But you would just take it and you would line it up against and you would go like this. And you'd flip it around. And normally, I have some of these tools already. But as years go by, the file wears down, and you can pull the file out and flip it around because it has the filing edge on this side. It also has a filing edge on top of here, and it also has a filing edge on the other side. So if you're very savvy, you can take a pair of channel locks or something and pull out the file and flip it over and put it back in. Some of the better ones of these have a set screw where you just undo the set screw and then it falls right out, and put it back, flip it over, and flip over the file or put a new file in it, and reset the set screws. This one doesn't. I only paid like $4 for this. $6. I take it back. I paid $6 for this. But it was on sale and on Amazon, so I figured, what the heck, I'll get it. I might have to use it on this one because there's a few fret edges that are a little bit sharp down here. So we'll see. So that's what that is. I'll give you a kind of a closer look there. Pretty nice. Not too shabby. Pretty cool. For $6, you can't go too wrong. I mean, what the heck, right? Put it in a Ziploc bag that doesn't quite fit, and I just broke the bag, so oops. Oh well. Oopsie. Oopsie daisy. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. So I am getting a later start than usual on my video, about 2.5 hours late, but I had a pretty full day today, so I couldn't, I just simply couldn't get away to start this video right at 9 o'clock, like I usually do. But we'll plug it in, we'll check the jack. Looks like the jack needs to be tightened a little tiny bit. It's going to be out of tune, so the tone works. And it's only one pickup, so you got no three-way selector, because you don't have anything to select, so everything works. Pretty good. Now the action is really, really high. I mean, it's like I can almost stick my pinky under there, it's so high. I'll give it a quick tune and just to see how it goes in tune. Ooh. Looks like the intonation's off, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Looks like we have a small issue with intonation, and this is a what's called a compensated bridge, which means you can't adjust the intonation for not these two little Allen screws, which you can kind of adjust that way, but that's it. Yeah. It's a little better. It'll need some adjustment, that's for sure. But that's alright. Okay, so other than that, yeah, it's pretty cool. We got our new tool that I just got. I'll just go ahead and detune it now. I got my pre-pictures of it already, so I can go ahead and detune it. So we will commence doing that. The strings are brand new. I'm not going to bother changing those out. A couple of them are wound wrong, but that's okay. I will fix that. They're wound wrong on the tuning peg. color on this again is satin silver, so I won't be polishing this, but I will clean it. Just because I can. I'm going to stand up to between these, because it'll be faster. And this guitar should go relatively fast. That's why I chose this guitar tonight, because I was running late and I'm on kind of a semi-limited time tonight. So that being said, I'll go ahead and take the knobs off. Ooh, those came off nice and easy, relatively so, anyway. Relatively so. Take the graduated bridge off. Set that aside. That'll give us a chance to check the nut and make sure the nut is nice and tight, if you will. And then we'll proceed to take off the mounting adjusters for the bridge. And again, the color is a nice satin silver metallic, so that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and stand up to tighten everything on it. I'm going to use my other screwdriver because it's okay. Alright. Alright.
I'm not going back to the crash zone. I've got to get to the restock unit so I can contact my ship.
You can bring my letter to the restock unit. Then police and defender there can take it to driver. Will you, Joy? Please? I'll go write it down before the midnight time.
Okay. So far so good on that. And then we'll adjust the pickup pole height, which will be very fast on this guitar because it's already pretty close.
Thank you both. You've all been very kind.
Writing for my brother. You'll be sure he gets there?
I'll do my best.
Your best will be enough. The pretty smile of the blossoms will hold the nemesis far away.
Then you better keep one for yourself.
So, it will be the 1st of February tomorrow already. My goodness. The years are going to go by so fast. Pretty soon we'll be sitting here talking about 4th of July next. I can just imagine. I can just imagine now. Okay, far so good on that. Tighten the strap buttons. Oh yeah, nice.
We'll take the truss rod cover off. Wrong screwdriver. Okay, maybe it was the right screwdriver. Yeah, it was. Okay. Whoops. Goodness. Alright. Well. Okay. Press and cover off. I always want to make sure, double check, it doesn't have the protective plastic still on it. Now it says Gibson on it, but it is not a Gibson. It is an Epiphone. A lot of Epiphones did that. It would say Epiphone by Gibson or whatever. Just what they did, that's all. I'm going to flip it over and do these set screws for the tuners. For that I will use the new screwdriver. So far, so good. I won't have to polish the back of the headstock because it's satin, but I will polish the tuners. There's 2 set screws per tuner. It's the old vintage style type tuners. Okay. And then we'll tighten the neck. Neck is already pretty tight. Okay, pretty good. Almost. I like my neck's pretty tight. Not to the point of breaking or anything, but pretty tight. And we'll take the back cover off, which also does not have the protective plastic on it. The guy took all that off. I was like, darn, you should have left out all that on, and even he realized, he said, yeah, I should have left those on. But that's okay. And it is shielded. I'll change my camera view, sorry about that. And they do have 500K pots in them, so that's good. And we'll take a picture of that, just for giggles, because I can. I don't know what that is. There we go. Okay. Very good. And then we'll check the
What did the crane do to you?
Jack, and tighten the jack up.
I don't know. He's very gray and his heart's not sturdy. He needs me to help him.
You, I want to talk to your superior. Hey, I'm talking to you.
Okay, the jack is nice and tight now. Now I just take and put my finger in there and bend the tab just a little bit closer, just so it has a nice tight fit when you put in your instrument cable.
You'll tell me, won't you? No matter what comes soon after.
Flash glimpses. I'm putting a new glow in the program.
Okay. All that's tight. Go ahead and put the cover back on. Well, let me check the all of the electronics and make sure they're all nice and tight. Make sure all the solder points are nice and tight, the ground is nice and tight, everything's tight. And then we can put the cover back on it. And then we'll proceed to do the fret polishing. Oh, and the fret edging. I have to retire this screwdriver soon to less important work, I'll put it that way. It's one of those things. Okay, everything in back is tight. We'll flip her back over. Come on now. So I'll get my tool out, and then you just take it. You don't go real hard, just barely the weight of your hand, and you only need to do it like 2 swipes at a time. And then feel. And then you'll get to know. You can use 2 hands if you want. Seems to be doing good so far. I like it. It's pretty precise. There we go. So, there we go, folks. First time I used it on the Epiphone here. Pretty cool. So we'll take pictures before polish.
If you want to lose weight and get healthier, you just follow the program. It's so simple.
Then we'll polish and continue. Hopefully our battery is still good compared to last time's battery issue. Might have to retire this drill battery, I don't know yet. Okay, there we go. Get a fresh rag. That's a shadow right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa. Yeah, that's not a shadow. See the difference big time. Side 2, 2 shadows there. Yeah. Okay, now we'll proceed to do the leading edge of the frets. And the original finish to the fretboard was supposed to be kind of not shiny, but satin also. But unless I want to tape off each and every fret, or use a fret isolator and then polish them each by hand, then it'll just have to have a little shine to the fretboard too. I mean, realistically, it doesn't matter. It's not an expensive guitar. This is a guitar I'm going to get 120 bucks for. Not a valuable guitar. These guitars are just under $200 new. This one is new. So it's not like I'm going to make a killing on this guitar. I got it for really, really, really super cheap today. And that's it. I'll make a tiny bit of profit on it, and that's it. I mean, very tiny. Minuscule. Some people might say not even worth the effort, but yeah, it's alright. Not everything has to be about money. I enjoy doing the work too. So again, this is an NOS 2017 Epiphone Les Paul Special in satin silver. And there's not much to say about it. There's nothing special or particular about it. It's not a limited edition custom shop version. I wish it was, but it isn't. And if it was, it would have a better fretboard, better frets, better tuner. And such. But that's okay. Not every guitar has to be a expensive $1,000 plus guitar. I like all guitars. I like all guitars. I love all guitars. Yeah. A little treble fret there. Sometimes I have to do this twice. I won't have to do this one twice, but some of them I have to. Because with these satin finish fretboards, they're really porous, and they take in a person's dirt and sweat and grease and oils from their fingers and hands, and it makes them exceedingly harder to do what I'm doing. This is a guitar fretboard that I would probably use fret oil on, but unfortunately I'm out right now. I have to order some more ingredients, so I make my own, but I have to order the ingredients that I make it, in which I make it, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll order that stuff on Amazon, or maybe a trip to Home Depot or something. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'm still recovering from my back issue for the past couple of weeks. It's been really, really bad. And not not much better today, but I had this guitar I picked up today, and I figured, well, it's a guitar I'll be able to do relatively fast, so I'll just do it real quick. So that being said, we're almost done here. It's over already. Well, that's right, I didn't get but a late start tonight, so partially my fault. I was vacillating back and forth to even actually do the guitar, but then I was like, you know what, it's not going to take long, I'm going to do it. So I was going back and forth, but am I going to do it, am I not going to do it, am I going to wait till Monday, am I going to do it Sunday night? And then by the time you vacillate back and forth and think about it, a half hour has already gone by, and you could have been working on the guitar already. Half hour into it. So it's like, So at that point, I just said, I'm going to change clothes and do it. Last fret. Alrighty. Here we go, folks. Doing pretty good. Check the chat room for any comments, criticisms, concerns, etc.
You say that at least half a dozen times. Roger, the Primes have given us clearance to enter orbit.
Have you received their landing protocols?
They're coming in now. We're on our way.
Okay. So now we'll proceed. Look at the frets. I'll show you the frets. Came out real nice. We'll proceed to polish the polish the pick guard, and then pick up. Then flip it over and then polish the little back panel, and then back of the tuners, top of the headstock. Before I do the top of the headstock, I'll groove and dry lube the nut, and we'll get that done, and go from there. So again, don't have to polish the body, and if anything, I want to keep polish away from the body, because if I even miss stroke and hit the finish, I'll actually put one little polish mark in it, and it won't look as satiny in that little area. So I'm pretty good at controlling my motions, so I think it'll be fine.
Heroes come in different forms. Some fear nothing. They've got nerves of steel. Visible courage. While others fear
Germs, needles, milk, death, snakes, mushrooms, heights, crowds. Okay, I don't see the entire list.
Watch Jack all day Wednesday starting at 11:10 Central, and Monk all day Thursday starting at 11.
Never got into the TV show Monk. It was just one of those shows where it was kind of like, I can watch it and be okay, but then it was like, I can do without it type of show.
So the grammar scores for at least 100.
I can take it or leave it, and that's what I meant to say. I can take it or leave it. I can take or leave Monk. I can take Monk, or I can leave him. Old Monk. I don't know. I like the actor. The actor's cool. I like him.
I tried to explain there's nothing left. No buildings, no trees, no people.
It's impossible. There were 3,600 colonists.
I've analyzed 6 of the pods since the monk. I have 2 left.
3 hours.
I'm gonna stand up and look at the pick guard. Oh yeah, nice. There wasn't much to hiff and haw and moan about. I mean, it was pretty, it's pretty clean to begin with, so.
What about the point of ignition? The fuse will be carefully beneath the surface.
Yeah, so anyway. Yeah.
Better start re-examining those logs. I guess something doesn't add up here.
A little spot here in the pick guard I need to kind of redo. Go up and down, side to side, side to side, side to side, diagonal, 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 counterclockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, clockwise, and then finish off clockwise. That's the way I do it. Oh yeah, much better.
That's not going to change the fact that there are 3,600 corpses down there.
Much better.
That should be my responsibility, sir. You're right, it should. Let's take this one step at a time.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool.
We came here to meet these people. To learn something about them, not to kill them.
Okay.
The protocols.
Now flip her over and we'll do that little back panel and then the back neck plate. That messed up, didn't it? Okay. Back plate.
His behavior has been erratic. He seems to alternate between despondency and guilt.
Okay.
Spends most of his time alone. I've tried to remind him that this was an accident, but his responses have been
Nice and shiny. You like shiny.
You should monitor him closely to be certain he remains fit for command.
I understand how uncomfortable this behavior must be for you, but trust me. It's very natural for Captain Knox to react under these circumstances. This is human nature. You'll be fine.
I'm just gonna give a light hand rub just to kind of get off any dust or for light fingerprints or anything. I'm not trying to polish the guitar because the guitar does not need polishing because it is satin finish. So that being said, we'll do the back of the tuners. No, we'll do the, I take it back. Take the jack plate. Polish the jack plate. Jack plate's plastics. And give it a little extra little gleam. You know, why not? Okay. Then we'll do the back of the tuners.
Mission's been canceled. Canceled? From what the Admiral tells me, Ambassador Saval would use this to convince Starfleet that we need another 10 or 20 years before we try this again. 20 years? Starfleet won't buy that for a minute, won't they? Tell him he's crazy. Tell him that's Gil talking, not Jonathan Archer. The Vulcan ship will meet us in 3 days to get you Dr. Fox.
Okay, back of the tuners.
Head for these coordinates. I can't believe you're letting them do this to us. You've waited all your life to command this ship. Dismissed. But sir, I said they're dismissed. Both of you.
You're dismissed. Okay. I'll polish off the back of the tuners that I just hit with polish. Be very careful not to hit the satin finish.
Everyone makes mistakes. But what if life was as forgiving as the General? You're in, and the General will cover you, even with a lapse of insurance. Smells like a chick. Go to the General and save some time. Nothing beats eating at your favorite diner.
Hi, I'm Holly Robinson Pete.
And I'm Roger.
Relax the tuners because I didn't have a card.
35 pounds of lipotine. And kept it off.
And I lost 13 pounds with lipozene.
Oh yeah. No problem with that. We still have the USA inspection sticker on the back. No problems, no issues, no glitches. No problem.
Eat her favorite food and still lose 4 times more weight. I'm very impressed with Rodney's weight loss, his blood pressure, and cholesterol.
Alright.
Before lipozene, we tried those frozen weight loss programs. You couldn't eat out with friends, no business lunches. You were just always
I'll flip her. Whoop, not gonna flip her over because one little problem area I wanted to get.
4 times more weight. In a clinical study,
There we go.
they were not asked to change their lifestyle.
And problem area gone.
As a result, they lost 4 times more weight. And 78% of that weight loss was fat.
There we go. Problem area gone.
caffeine, no jitters, no counting calories,
No frozen meal plans, no boot camp.
no prescription, and no hunger. And lipozene comes with a 100% guarantee.
Alright. Pretty good.
Eat your favorite
proceed to groove and dry lube the nut, and then we'll polish the top of the headstock, and then we'll be pretty well done.
Now you can lose 4 times more weight. Just add Lipozene for only $29.95. Call right now and we'll double your order for free and ship it free too. And for a limited time, we'll double the size of each bottle for free. So now you have 4 times the Lipozene for just $29.95. Plus, you'll get Metabol Plus to help boost your energy and metabolism. But you must call. Call 800-435-8014. 800-435-8014. 800-435-8014. If only there was a place nearby you could get one of these. Or these. Good thing they're sold literally everywhere business is done. I'm pretty sure you can buy them at a bank.
We're grooving and dry lubing the nut.
But I started taking a new supplement for women called Luminate Radiance Within, and I really noticed a difference.
Introducing Luminate Radiance Within, the total beauty supplement designed by women for women. Claim your complimentary 2-week sample today. Just text AGE to 231231. The key ingredients of Radiance Within are clinically researched to bring back youthful glowing skin, fuller, shinier hair, and stronger nails.
I noticed my wrinkles less, I'm less hungry, and I even what? Well, let's just say things have heated up with pollen. Now I have to try it.
Sounds too good to be true? That's why we're offering a
The reason you do this is so it doesn't bind.
Just text AGE to
String binding can really
free trial of Luminate Youth Rejuvenator.
Uh,
Help you feel younger and get the best sleep of your life. Text AGE
be hard for tuning problems, or going into tune or staying into tune.
You think they've replaced you in Brazil yet?
So, grooving and dry lubing can go a long way.
After a year on Enterprise, the thought of a carpet ship was appealing.
You're gonna be the most famous person around, you know?
So now we'll dry lube it.
Or maybe infamous. From what Commander Tucker tells me, people back home think that we're doing
I'm gonna
nothing
polish
but
it.
getting in trouble.
And it's our job to let the people back
I'll
home
use
know
my
we're sorry.
famous dry lube.
Anyone tries to badmouth Captain Archer in front of me is gonna give an earful in any language they want.
And a little goes a long way, so you gotta be careful.
Come in. Well, so important, couldn't wait till morning.
If you'd prefer, I'll come back.
No, I'm sorry.
It's very, very fine powder, so you can see it go
What
in.
do you got?
And again, a little goes a long way, so.
Discovered an unidentified immune signature on the ventral portion of the
Now we'll polish the
Could be
top of the headstock and top of the tuners, and then we'll go ahead and polish the bridge and bridge posts, and go ahead and start with our
send us on our way.
setup.
That was a nice
We're only barely an hour into it, 55 minutes, so we're doing pretty good.
Is this what humans refer to as feeling sorry for themselves?
You're out of line, Sub-Commander. I wish I was simply feeling sorry for myself. But actually, I'm feeling sorry for a whole lot of people. Every member of Starfleet, in fact. Their futures depended upon my ability to succeed at this mission.
As soon as we learned about the consequences of the explosion, I knew the Vulcan High Command would take advantage of the situation.
What's your point?
You have a responsibility to dispute their recommendation.
Starfleet already bought their recommendation, hook, line, and sinker.
Then you have a responsibility to convince them as well.
Then how do
On
you
top of
suggest I
the
do
other
that?
side of the tuners,
You were very adept.
be very careful not to touch the side of the guitar that has the satin finish on it.
No one will question.
And I'll polish the truss rod cover.
Try to convince my government of that. Are you willing to try to convince yours?
You know, this has got to be the first time a Vulcan has ever attempted to cheer up a human.
Beautiful.
I'll see you on the way.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay.
Commander, your company is appreciated. cheating. They'll probably give the son of a bitch some gaudy medal and then cart him off to wherever they send bitter old bunkers to retire. Ambassador Solar's service record contains an impressive list of accomplishments. You have to find something good in everybody, don't you? I gotta tell you, that's one of your unique qualities that drives me crazy. Now, Cessna, that's your house.
Okay, so far so good. It can be a little hard to polish top of headstocks with strings still attached without taking the string with your rag and then scratching the surface, but if you know how to grab each one and kind of hold them up, then you can avoid doing that. Just takes a little more patience. You gotta be patient. You can't get angry at it. And it works out pretty good.
It's what makes you stay lean, build strong muscles, and feel energetic. Unfortunately, around the age of 20, your body starts producing less youth hormone. And by the time you're in your 40s and 50s, it's much harder to stay energetic, lean, and feel muscle.
Okay, now we're gonna put the Tressor cover back.
Eugenics GH Boost uses an amino acid and mechanical blend, clinically demonstrated to help your body boost its own youth hormone level more than 100%. Text LUCK to 321321 to get your complimentary sample.
And I never exactly liked the fact that Epiphone put the word Gibson on their truss rod covers, because that gave a lot of people the opportunity to claim their Epiphone was a Gibson and charge $1,000 for a $200 guitar. I ran into that problem the other day when somebody brought me a guitar, and their pictures were really, really fuzzy from a cell phone camera. But I told him, bring me the guitar, I'll look at it. If it's what you say it is, I'll buy it. He brought it, I looked at it. Within 2 seconds, it was an Epiphone. It said Epiphone across the headstock. And he said, oh, no, it's a Gibson. Look at the truss rod cover, it says Gibson. I said, no, it's Epiphone by Gibson. I said, and he wanted $800 for this guitar. I said, no, your $800 guitar is worth $100. And that's it. And he was like, no, he was off talking about it and pissed and mad at me and saying I was a liar and I was this and that, and I was just trying to get a guitar for nothing. And I was like, no, do some research. Google's your friend. And I haven't heard back from him since, so that should tell you. So I imagine at some point somebody else will tell him the same thing. Your Epiphone, your Gibson is an Epiphone, not a Gibson. And then a third person will tell him, and a fourth person, and a fifth person. And then eventually they'll get the point. It's like, okay, well. Now, on the other hand, I had somebody coming to look at a Fender American Standard Stratocaster that I have for sale. And it is a real Fender, made in the USA, American Stratocaster Standard. Within about 20 seconds of picking the guitar up and looking at it, he told me it was a Squier and it was worth $50. And I was like, well, okay, tell me how it's a Squier. Oh, it just is. I can tell by looking at it. That was his excuse. His excuse was, I can tell by looking at it. I was like, no, well, you know what, I can tell by looking at it, it isn't. I have $1,300 on this guitar for sale. And I was like, no. hate that sound. I'm gonna have to lubricate my drawer.
See you in the morning.
I'm gonna have to lube it with some lube.
If you're trying to tell me the last 10 months was a dream,
Okay. Now we're gonna polish the bridge. Then we'll be ready to put the knobs back, polish the knobs, put the knobs back on, etc., etc. Okay.
What can I do for you?
do you have a Denobulan doctor in the Interspecies Medical Exchange?
Yes.
Oh, mercy.
Would you like me to contact him for you?
Oh, mercy.
No, that's all right.
To polish it like this, I guess.
I didn't even know flocks existed before they brought Clang in. And that was the day after the late night cauldron trip. You're not dreaming, Captain.
Oh, excuse me. The burpees.
This must be very disorienting. I apologize, but I have no choice. Major Tucker told me you were dead. It's silly killed you. He didn't. In a manner of speaking. We have to talk, Captain, and it's essential that none of the other factions know about it. I doubt any of them would think I'd bring you here. So you're telling me you brought me back? What, 10 months ago?
Oh, flip this back over. Yeah, there we go.
And who just climbed
And it's a real Epiphone
That hasn't happened yet. That's a load of crap.
bridge, so that's plus always.
Half a dozen people. It always ends up the same.
And polish it up real nice like.
One question. All right.
You always want to keep a good hold of it because you don't want to drop it on top of your finish on your guitar or you will scratch it all up, dent it all up, and ding it all up.
Been screwed with, Captain.
And that would not be copacetic.
It was an accident. That's not what I mean. History never recorded the disaster. Someone violated the temporal accord. Someone who doesn't want your mission to succeed. Are you telling me that Enterprise didn't cause that explosion? Do you remember the temporal cold war I spoke of? It's kind of hard to forget. Then listen to me carefully. We don't have much time.
Yeah.
15 minutes. Mr. Reed, I'd like you in my quarters immediately. It was just where we detected the EM signature. But I don't understand. It was completely invisible. How on earth did you know?
So far so good. I mean, we're not running into any problems, issues, or glitches. Oop, I do need to polish the other side.
This thing was designed to generate a plasma stream.
So these compensated bridges are pretty easy to deal with. Sometimes you run into one you can't quite intonate your guitar. But those are few and far between.
For a day or so, see to it.
But it happens. It happens from time to time. But not very often. Okay, so now we want to make sure all of our strings are not twisted, and they are twisted, so ay, ay, ay.
Just want to talk. If we know raids ran the world, we'd all live in houses built to kick 5K. What do you think the chances of that happening?
Okay, I think we got it. I think we're good. That looks straight, so we're going to go ahead and put our bridge back on. There we go. Oh, I had to take a little break with my back.
Introducing Luminate Radiance Within, the total beauty supplement designed by women for women.
Oh, well, my new tool worked pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. I think I might order another one, considering they were only just under $8.
I noticed my wrinkles less, I'm less hungry, and I even what? Let's just say things have heated up.
I always like to keep ahead in disposable tools. And this is considered a disposable tool. Even though you can take the file out and reverse it, eventually it will get spent and you can't do anything about it and you have to throw it away. So tools like that I find that I like and are useful, I will buy 2 or even 3 of. So that way I've got a, year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year supply, and then I don't need to worry about it. So it works out good that way. Okay, let's polish the knobs, and then we'll be ready to put the setup on this. And we're only an hour and 10 minutes into this guitar, so we're doing pretty good. Now we'll have this back up for sale tomorrow for $120 on Facebook Marketplace, Twitter, Instagram, my personal website, classifiedads.com, and yeah. So I'm putting the knobs back. You want to make sure you have them all the way up, and make sure you're 10, at least I like to do this, make sure you're 10 on your numbered graduation is facing up, so that way when you're all the way up on your toner volume, it's showing number 10. A lot of times they don't do that. They just put them on at the factory, and when you put it up all the way, it's at 4 or 3 or 7 or 8 or 5 or whatever. I don't like to do that.
I wouldn't know, sir. Our comment on the Fritz.
Why did Daniels leave it in his quarters? I don't recall him having much time to pack before he left. Well, if it is there, then it contains anything valuable to start, please. I gave Daniels my word now. We download the schematics for the Sula. Nothing else.
I like to press these down pretty good, but not so hard that you can't get them off again at some point. Because the next person that comes along that works on the guitar, that if you have to replace a pot or something, or retighten the pot, they can't get to it because the knob is on so tight. And I've even seen people where they will super glue these on because they're loose, and then if the pot goes bad, you have to replace the whole thing, and then you gotta cut it off, and then possibly damage the guitar, and it's just a whole freaking mess, and that's not good. Yeah, not good at all. Okay, well, that being said, I think we can start tuning the guitar up. Well, not tune it, but we can start doing the setup on it, rather. Put the guitar strings in the respective groove, if at all possible. That way they're just kind of there. And then we'll we'll start. And this one, whoever strung it didn't put the eye in right, so the eye kind of sticks out. I don't know why, but it does. So we're gonna have to kind of coax it in a little bit. I'm gonna put a rag so I don't scratch the guitar with my screwdriver or accidentally drop the screwdriver. So that way we don't have any tuning issues. There we go, see? There we go. And we'll do it better when we get closer to tuning this sucker. And these compensated bridges don't really have a groove, but when the factory puts the strings on, they kind of create their own groove, if you will. You know, it happens. And then the adjustment for the action height is these screws, or bolts rather. So we'll adjust that accordingly also. I just set them all the way down to, because that's what I always do, as you guys know. Get out my flat needle nose so that way I can compress the leading edge of the string that goes inside the hole down. We'll do that as we always do. I see a problem. Alrighty. Ouch. Just poked myself on the string. So, okay. I'm going to stretch these strings a little more, just so they're good to go. Okay. Don't forget we already grooved and lubed the nut. smell skunk outside already. We have had a heck of a time with skunks this year. I don't know why. More than any year previously. It's like skunks. Everywhere are skunks. It's crazy. Skunks have been crazy plentiful the past maybe 2 years. But this year, really crazy. I can't believe it. Skunks everywhere. It's been nuts. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to adjust the bridge height, action height, to about a factory setting. And we'll adjust down from there. Because I like the action was way too high before, so we'll adjust accordingly. I have this correct size wide blade screwdriver. Most people will try and use a freaking screwdriver like this or something to adjust it, and then find out that they're going to strip it out. Or maybe they'll use something a little wider, maybe like that, but 9 times out of 10 they don't. And it does not work. So at any rate, I'm going to cut the ends off of the strings because they were protruding out a little more.
Each of these Cook Islands non-circulating legal tender coins is larger in size than U.S. Morgan silver dollars and purer than any U.S. silver dollar ever struck for circulation. It boasts 2 eagles in flight on the obverse with the words American Double Eagle. The reverse features the iconic Liberty Bell, the Cook Island of Primatura, and the important $2 denomination. Now you can reserve your own $2 Double Eagle. Each coin is struck in 5.
Oh my. Okay. My back is killing me, so I really do need to wrap this up pretty quick. My back seems to be getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I used to be able to sit here. God, guys, remember when I used to be able to sit here for like 6 hours and do like 3 guitars? Now I'm lucky if I can do 1. Getting old sucks. Really does. Really does. got a very quick chip tune on it. And I did a quick chip tune on it just by ear. That should be relatively close. Because my back is really starting to hurt and really, so I want to get the action done and all that stuff. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick. And then we'll finish the action height and tune, intonation, and pickup height. So I'll be right back. Be right back. Thank you.
But to conclude that the answers that you acquired this information from a dead human who transported you back through time is illogical.
Why don't you give me another explanation?
I can't.
Because there isn't one. I got a call from Trip. Something about inspection pods. It was the exact same call I got the day before they found Clang. Word for word.
Perhaps you were dreaming.
Listen. I never thought this was possible either. But I traveled through time. And I need you to believe me.
Why?
Because it's hard enough trying to fathom all this without having my science officer, a colleague who I trust and rely on, the person who got me to stop feeling sorry for myself, accusing me of being an hallucinating madman.
I don't remember accusing you of anything.
Reached your watch. Yes.
We're getting some strange readings, sir. It might not be a bad idea for you to come out here.
I'm taking the liberty of asking Commander Tucker to join us. What's the problem? We're having trouble balancing the move field. This appear to me. It's odd. It'll be stable one moment, and then for no reason, it'll go slightly out of alignment. What are you guys doing in my engines?
The auto stabilizers aren't functioning properly.
The computer ran its last diagnostic a little less than 10 minutes ago. They look fine. Well, they're not. We've had to realign the field a dozen times.
Much of them. What's interesting on these, I don't know why. What? Those are just, I think those are just lines or something. Okay, sorry folks, I'm a little bit scattered right now.
How many did you take out? Before we have Grafana? Not enough, sir.
Okay, we're almost done. We're getting there. Okay, we got a little buzz, so we're gonna go up half a turn. We're gonna go up another half turn. Okay, I already need to know. I need to go up half turn on this. Yep, need to go up another half turn. Still need to go up a half turn. Okay, well that sucks. Dang. Gonna be high action. I don't know. We'll see. Might need to adjust that one back down since I'm going higher on this end. Oh, we'll see. Kind of why I don't like this kind of setup, but it is what it is. Okay, well, let's see. I'll look at it. Go up another half, and we'll go from there. Oops, I screwed over. This is why you do it with two hands. This is why. Okay, maybe I'll go up half on this. And you gotta understand, these are not high-end guitars, so you can't expect $1,000 performance out of a $100 guitar. Just isn't. Just isn't. I'm gonna put this one back down. Half turn. And then go up another half turn on this one. Okay, now we don't have any more double notes. So the action is a few millimeters lower than what it was. So that's good. So that's very, very good. Okay. Alright. Now we'll hook up the amp to it and see what kind of intonation we get, and etc. Oh yeah, the jack is nice and tight. need to adjust the intonation. Now we're adjusting the intonation. Show is over already. I've been doing this lately. I've been getting up a little tiny bit later every day, and a little bit tiny later, and a little bit tiny later, and getting started on things a little tiny later and a little tiny later. I can't be working on guitars at 1:30, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just can't do it, and that's kind of what's been going on lately. Not that I'm at that point, but it's edging toward that. And it's because it's this time of the year with my back and the weather. I have a bad night with my back, and then I'm up until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I have to sleep in a little more, and then etc. And it's just, it is what it is, and that's what it is, and what it is, what it is, what it is. But I'm going to cure that next week. We're still not doing too bad. We're only an hour and 40 minutes into this guitar, so... We're getting close, so it's not that big of a deal. close. Oh, okay. There's an intonation issue with this guitar. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but we'll find out. Okay. Pretty darn close. Pretty darn close, guys. Pretty darn close. adjust the intonation a little bit more. Like 3 turns. Is killing me. Oh. Okay, I've had enough of this. I want to get this guitar down. I'm sorry. Oh, it's vastly out of tune. Okay, this guitar has tuning issues. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. There we go. Okay, now it's done. I figured out the issue. Okay, folks, there we have it. A slight issue with setting intonation, but we got it done. We got it done, no problem. So yeah. Now we have the guitar done. As mentioned, I had a slight issue with intonation, but I was able to finish that up, and now we're done with the guitar.
So thank you for joining me on this classic guitar video, which is brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. Please check them out. I endorse them very, very, very highly. And again, we have this Epiphone Les Paul Junior in satin silver metallic. Really cool guitar. We did have a slight issue with intonation, but I was able to cure that relatively quick, and it came out really nice. So it's going to be a really good guitar that somebody's really going to enjoy. This guitar is going up for sale tomorrow for $120. I think that's a pretty good deal considering it's NOS, brand new, from 2017. It's virtually in brand new condition, virtually and categorically, no dents, no dings, no chips, no scratches, no nothing on the guitar, new strings. It's a nice piece. So thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time, and happy guitaring.